Man, it is cold today. Had to cancel the buses. You know, it looks like a nice day out there with the sun and everything, but it is minus 47 degrees Celsius with the wind chill today. That is crazy cold. Okay, so we're just gonna have a little bit of fun this morning before we get in the studio. And because it's like minus 47 outside with the wind, I figured I would boil some water and then take it outside and throw it up in the air. Okay, we're going to take another look at some tips for setting up your guitar. What we're going to look at here is a PRS guitar, and basically all that is the way that we're going to set up a guitar like this, PRS, single cutout. This one is Tremonti Signature SE, and not an overly expensive guitar, but one that you know, pretty much anybody can get their hands on. There's no Floyd Rose or anything on this. This is just a stop tail, and it's just got two adjustable studs, mounting studs on the side here to lock the bridge into the body. And then on the back side of each of those is an Allen tuning key where you can check the intonation. And so what we're going to look at today is how we can do just a couple things to make sure that after we've changed our strings on the PRS that we've got, you know, a good tuning, and if we have to, we can check our intonation and make sure that that's in line as well. Otherwise, you know, when you start playing something up in the high frets here, 12th fret, 13th, 14th fret, it might sound a little sharp or a little flat, so just doing these couple things will alleviate that. And just as a pro tip again, what we've done is on all my guitars is I put just a little piece of foam in the headstock here, just underneath all the strings there. And what that does is it just, especially on a guitar like this that doesn't have any lock nuts, any tuning locks at the top, this one might have a little bit of that buzz from those strings there, and we don't want any of that, especially when we're recording. When you're playing live, maybe not such a big deal, but when you're recording, though, and you're trying to capture all the sounds, you might get that weird kind of ting-ting thing ringing in the background that you're not quite sure where it's from. So this guitar, like we talked about when we did the Floyd Rose on the Jackson, when you take the strings off, you can clean the fretboard here. This particular model guitar has a mahogany neck with a rosewood fretboard. And so what you would do with rosewood or mahogany or anything like that, anything that's not just a maple board, is you would take just like lemon oil and clean in between all the frets. And when you're done, just let it kind of sit there for a few minutes and sink in. And that takes good care of it. And once you've let it sit for, I don't know, 5-10 minutes, just take a dry cloth and just wipe off any excess oil off of there and make sure it's dry on the top again, and put your strings on. Piece of cake, easy. Okay, so what we're going to look at here is I've got my DAW open. I'm using Studio One version 4. And basically what we're doing is we are just opening a tuner. And so what you can see here is I've got my tuner. It's just an insert that you can put right on top of your track. And then I've got a VU meter just so I can monitor my input levels. And then I've got my guitar connected directly into DI, which is then going into my audio interface. Okay, and then you're going to see my levels come in here, and my VU meter is going to show me my level as well. So just off here you can see I've got sensitivity, I don't know, about 50%, and then the scale I've got it set to -18. Okay, so now, so tip 1 would be, especially when you're doing on a PRS guitar with a stop tail, and it's got the 2 studs here. Basically what you want to do is set what's called the action. And what I mean by that is the amount of space that's between your string and your actual frets. So when you hit a string, okay, there's no buzzing off of the top of the frets there, so that's what you want. You don't want it to buzz. What will happen is, just a quick tip, is you can take a quarter, and on these PRS ones, it's kind of soft metal, so you want to not jab at it because you'll make markings on it. But there's 2 flathead slots on the top of it, and you just take a quarter, and what you're going to do is, if you turn it clockwise, it's going to lower this bridge, and that's going to reduce the amount of action that you have on your fretboard. So the action being the amount of space between your string and the fret. So most people like to have what they call fast action, and basically that's the string as low to the fretboard as possible without buzzing. So what you can do, this is the first tip, is take your quarter and hit a string, okay, and just keep hitting it, and then turn that stud clockwise until you start to hear buzzing. And you can do it on the open string, but probably a good indicator would be like hit the second or third fret on the fattest string that you have, which would be your low 6th string, or 7th string if you play a 7-string guitar. I don't know. So you want to keep hitting those every time that you turn this stud, and I wouldn't turn it very much. The other thing too is, if you're just doing little tiny adjustments, it's okay to not have to worry about detuning your string too much. If you're gonna be doing, like, if your action is way high and way out of whack, then you want to detune the strings first to take the tension off of here, and then make those adjustments on the stud, and then tune it back up, and then keep going back and forth until you get everything back in tune. Okay, so I've got a tuner up on the screen here, and we're just going to check the buzzing at 2nd fret, 3rd fret, 5th fret, 7, 9, 12. Okay, so not really any buzzing happening there. A string, 5th string, 2nd fret, 3rd fret, 5th fret. Okay, pretty good. Nice and low action. Nothing really happening buzzing-wise. So once you've finished doing that, on the PRS, there are, like we mentioned, the 2 Allen keys on the back set of this stop tail, and those are going to adjust your intonation. So you'll want to get a really small Allen key. You can see it there. And on the back side, okay, you would take that and you would make little minor adjustments, not a lot. Again, any little turn to that Allen key is going to affect your intonation. There's only 2 of them, one on the high E, behind the high 1st note, and one behind your low 6th string, 1st string, and then your 6th string. Okay, and once you do that, you're going to take your tuner that you've got on screen here, okay, and you're going to hit the open string and get that as in tune as you can. Okay, then you're going to hit the harmonic on the 12th fret. Okay, so you're just going to hold your finger over top of the string. You're not going to press on the fret. You're going to hold your finger over top until you hear the harmonic of the same note. So you hear that. Okay, this is the open note. That's the harmonic. Okay, and as you can see on your tuner, they're both in tune, which is good. So now you want to do the third thing, which is press on the 12th fret. Okay. Open, harmonic, 12th fret. Okay, so they're all in tune. So the intonation on my 6th string is A-OK. And you want to do that for each string. Okay, make sure it's in tune, open, harmonic, 12th fret. Okay, and then just work your way up the strings. So do that to each one of the strings. Again, open, harmonic, 12th fret. Okay, open, harmonic, 12th fret, open, harmonic, 12th fret. The harmonic is the 12th fret on your fretboard. Okay, and then the other thing you want to check for the action, if you want fast action, like I said, give that stud little turns at a time, okay? And when you start hearing a buzz, as soon as you hear a buzz, then back it off, okay? And that'll give your action probably the fastest action you can set for that guitar. If you find that there's just no happy medium, you're going back and forth and there's all kinds of trouble with it, what you can do is do a truss rod adjustment, which is underneath the top of your headstock here. That's what that little triangle thing is right at the front. So you just remove that plate. Your guitar would have came with a truss rod adjustment tool, which is like looks like a little hammer almost. It's got a single rod and then a cylinder-shaped tuner on the end, or a key on the end, sorry. And you would just use that to bend the actual neck. There's a metal rod that goes all the way through your neck here. And what it does is it sets the bow of the neck. Okay, so typically there's a little bit of a bow, okay, a little bit of a bow, and if your neck is really flat and it's starting to bend the other way, you're never going to get rid of that buzz no matter what you do. So that means you definitely need a truss rod adjustment. Now you can do it yourself if you're okay with that. There's lots of YouTube videos out, and maybe I'll do one too. But you can take it into your local mechanic shop or repair shop, local music store that has a center in there where they fix things up and tune things up for you, and they'll be able to get that set for you perfectly. So that could be all it is. And it could just be because maybe you haven't played that guitar for a long time. Who knows? Anyway, couple tips for you today, and thanks for checking us out. And if you want to see more, you can go to darkroastrecording.com and hit the subscribe link and enter your email address there, and we'll keep sending you little things like this, studio news and updates, new artists, new songs that are coming out, all that kind of stuff. So check that out. And you know what? Leave a comment in the comment section below about maybe something that you would want to see us do a couple of quick tips on, whether it be, learning how to play something or how to hold a pick or whatever it is. Thanks for tuning in.